The college football playoff semifinals are finally going to be upon us.
Oh, that's this one. I'm sorry, it's been so long, I've forgotten.
6 days from now, we will have actually by this point, one of these games will be determined. One of them will be, well, let's see, the game supposedly starts at 8:45, so it's 9:14, so the game will be kicking off in about 3 minutes.
Allegedly.
First off, why the fuck is there a bowl game starting at 8:45? But anyway, that's this old man yelling at cloud.
Hey, listen. Your bowl covering media members are human too. Okay, listen. I'm mad enough by a 6:30 start for me covering the Pop-Tarts Bowl this Thursday. Okay,
I'm just glad to be home in time to watch these games. That's all.
But that'd be for the 3-point conversion since we got a big.
Now, what is your preferred Pop-Tart flavor, Kyle?
I mean, I'm old school. Bring that strawberry action.
Hell yeah, baby.
My man.
Yep.
My man. These games, the Rose Bowl and the Sugar Bowl on Monday, January the 1st, but we'll start with the Rose Bowl presented by Prudential, 5:00 Eastern time on ESPN from Pasadena, California. It is the number 1 Michigan Wolverines. They are 13-0. They're a 1.5-point favorite against number 4 Alabama, who is 12-1. 45 is your over-under on this one. EJ, we'll start with you. Oh, Mike going brown sugar cinnamon for the Pop-Tarts. Don't hate it. Don't hate it.
Yeah, no one said it was bad. It's just not my favorite. The question was my favorite. But listen, if somebody offers me a pepperoni pizza instead or a mushroom pizza instead of a pepperoni pizza, I ain't mad at them either. I'm going to have the mushrooms.
Man.
I saw it for you as long as I could, EJ Christian. Step your
No, I'm taking Michigan. No way home taking Alabama win this game. I mean, they could, but Michigan finally does it. They get to the final 2. Give Michigan to cover outright, and I think they'll win convincingly. Actually, to be honest with you. And give me the over.
All right, student of the game, Kyle Nash.
You know, the irony that I covered this game is the last bowl game before COVID, at the Citrus Bowl here, when Jim Harbaugh was still coaching in Michigan. What ended up turning the game in the direction of turning the tide for the Tide. See what I did there? Was the trenches. Thank you, sir. At this point, the thing that makes me so sure that the Wolverines will look like a comic book superhero against the Crimson Tide is, in fact, the activity in the trenches. I just don't think Alabama can compete with them the same way. And just will have the Alabama offense in duress. That's the kind of thing that leads to somebody with being audacious enough to say that Michigan will not only cover outright, but then also leads them to take the over, much like my good friend Ernest Julius Christian did. So there you go.
Yeah, look, I mean, Michigan definitely tested in their final regular season game, showed what they can do.
And that was without the head coach on the sideline, Jim.
That is correct. And you know, Alabama over the course of the season, and even in the closing games, I mean, I understand they beat Georgia, but you know, a week prior to beating Georgia, they needed a miracle to beat an Auburn team that lost to, like, you know, what was it, the St. Catherine's School for Mormons or something the week prior. Like, this is not, I don't think this is the same Alabama that we have seen and come to know and love or hate, depending who you are, over the past, feels like 100 years. You know, I think this Michigan team is bigger. I think they are stronger. I think they are a better football team. And they're playing with a chip on their shoulder that I don't think Alabama is. You know, all year there's been a cloud over this team and people telling them they're not good. They're only doing it because of, you know, they know what plays are coming, and like all of this stuff has seemed to make this team better. And they've had a month to prepare, and finally, for the first time all season, focus on football. And I think that, and that battle of the trenches, I agree with Kyle, and EJ as well, is going to be the difference. And I do think Michigan covers.
It does have a team of destiny, like, kind of feel to it now.
Yeah, I mean, it just, yeah, I hate to use phrases like that, because
get all Hollywood.
Feels like you're getting into danger territory, but it just, you know, when Harbaugh's told on the tarmac going to Penn State that he's not going to coach. Everybody at that point is like, oh, well, this is, they're just going to lose tomorrow. Well, then they beat Penn State. And then they can't beat Ohio State, especially not without their head coach. And then they fucking do it. And they, then we get sad walk Ryan Day up the tunnel. And like, it just,
make sure you point out that out there, Marge.
I mean, look, anytime
Marge,
I can laugh at that painted haired bitch. I will.
Oh, wow.
And I will always take that opportunity. So yeah, there does feel like something with this team.
And I got to say this as a quick aside here, because you give me a platform on your show, and that's your mistake. But I say all the above to say I get mad enough to call a grown-ass man a painted-haired bitch myself, hearing about these successes in Michigan that Harbaugh has executed by building a culture, because it pisses me off that Trent Baalke pulled his bullshit and he left San Francisco.
Yep. And Michigan is the benefactor of such. Mike and Devin both have Michigan and the over as well. Then we go to the All-State Sugar Bowl, also on Monday, 8:45 allegedly Eastern time on ESPN. This one, of course, from New Orleans, Louisiana. It is number 2 Washington. They are 13-0, taking on number 3 Texas, who is 12-1 and a 4-point favorite. 63.5 is your over/under on this one. Student of the game, we'll start with you.
Man, you call me a fool, but I'm going to pick the under here. And why? I think the difference in this game is very simple. Defense wins championships, and typically speaking, Washington cannot do that. Whereas Texas has a great defensive front, the likes of which subdued an SEC offensive line. Please see Alabama. I'm going to take Texas here. Like I said, give me the under, and I believe they cover those 4 points as well, Jim.
There we go. All right, EJ.
Oh no, I'm going all the way. I'm going to take Washington outright to win this game.
No, I'm kidding.
I
talk shit, but honestly, I can't rule that out, man.
But I agree with you though. I'll take the under this game on this one.
Yeah, I mean,
that's fascinating. You pick. I'm sorry, Jim. You picked Washington to win outright, but the under? That's interesting.
Yeah.
That implies you think Washington's going to play
strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for them.
Yeah, that implies you think Washington's going to play defense.
Very bold. Very bold. Here's the deal, man. Washington's been great all year. They've won arguably the 2 biggest games of the college football season. Michigan, Ohio State would like a word. The SEC title game probably would also like a word, but we tell them to fuck off this year.
Well, just like you should with your team too, Marge. But anyways.
What biggest game did Notre Dame play in?
I said Marge, but good try.
Oh, gotcha. Freudian slip, maybe. But the Washington has struggled at times, where I think Texas is going to take advantage of, especially in a couple of games late. I mean, we look at the Apple Cup, and I understand the weather wasn't great, but Washington struggled there. They won a tough battle against Oregon State in probably some of the worst weather of the season. But even in those 2 games against Oregon, they were tight games where Oregon couldn't capitalize. I feel like this Steve Sarkisian Texas team will attack in those spots and be the better team. Now, if we're talking 4 points, I feel like it's going to be tight enough that I'm going to take Washington to cover the 4. But I think it's going to be within a field goal, but I think Texas is going to win. And I will take the slightest under.
Slight under.
Slight.
So
under.
62 points.
I think this will be the better of the 2 games on Monday, because I think
For
the first time in a while, and this may be danger talking, but like for the first time in a while, I feel like the Alabama game is not going to be close, but it's going to be in a good way.
Wow.
At least in this house. Maybe not in the South, but Texas, but Washington covers and in the under. Mike has Washington outright in the over. Devin has Texas and the over. Joe says Texas wins but doesn't cover, so he has Washington covering the 4 and the under as well. It's better of the two games, and no one will see it. Well, Washington fans will. And I guess Texas fans will too, because this would be a 6:45 start.
Isn't that a national holiday in the state of Texas, Jim?
Oh, always. Absolutely. So yeah, probably the next day.
Did anybody catch that I said national holiday for Texas? See, that's
yes.
That's the joke. By the way, Jim, don't think I didn't catch the Freudian.
That's the joke.
Don't think I didn't catch the Freudian slip comment and you mentioning Marge and trying to deal with your soon-to-be Big Ten Irish currently playing in the ACC.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
NBC would like a word, bitch. Anyway,
That's adorable. You mean the contract they just re-upped? Yeah, it's adorable. All right.
Winter is coming.
What's that?
Winter is coming.
Yeah, it's adorable.
Allegedly.
It's very cute. That is very.
Hey,
very
listen,
cute.
I don't want to hear anything from you, FSU fan, the way you're trying to supplant a conference currently yourself.
Let me out.
Let me out, bitch.
Get me out of here.
I'm still mad. I'm still crying.
Mike says he'll be working till 3 a.m., so he'll be watching. There you go. Somebody on the East Coast will be watching it. I'll be watching it till I fall asleep.